Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Heather, and on this channel we like to walk a very fine line between a shopping addicted makeup monster and a responsible adult with a makeup hobby. Now, I really enjoy eyeshadow singles, duochromes, multichromes, blush, highlight, lip gloss, basically everything except pressed glitter. And today we are going to be talking about a handful of palettes that really give me summertime vibes. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, stick with me, we're getting into it right now. And I know some of these could definitely have a bit of crossover from springtime, so I tried to intentionally pick some different palettes to talk about for summer. For some of them, it's reminding me of prior vacations I've taken, and so that's why they're getting pulled, not necessarily the color story, but I figured I'd show you guys everything. I have about 15. So first up was the Blend Bunny Lure palette, and this palette definitely made me think of like summertime, because when I think of this, I think of like mermaids and the ocean and going out on the boat, and so for me, this kind of reminds me of that whole time period. So I picked this one out as my first one. I love the shimmer shades. These, especially this kind of minty teal shade is so pretty, and you have one multi-chrome in here, which I think is quite nice. Even this neutral row, which normally would not be my vibe, I actually do really appreciate, because it has this very cool undertone that makes it complement my skin tone quite nicely. So overall, this one definitely had to be picked. And then I also picked out a Nomad palette, because of course I had to pick out a Nomad palette. The Paradise Islands would definitely be a close runner-up, but I picked out the Monteverde Cloud Forest palette, and it looks like this. And the reason I picked this one out is because it is so bright and vibrant. You've got all these super neon shades in here. The metallics in this palette I don't necessarily jump to as much, because they're all just kind of greenish, with the exception of this one. So I tend to pull other things in when I'm using this palette, but the mattes in this palette are so nice. I would recommend this palette even if you don't care at all about the metallics. Next, I'll talk about a little trio here. These are some Too Faced palettes, and these are from their 2D Fruity collection, which is a couple years old at this point, but this is the Papaya Pop. And it smells they all smell like papaya and pineapple and berries and stuff. This is the raspberry one. And then this is the pineapple, which is the most neutral of all of them. But these definitely remind me of going on vacation. I picked these up when I took my aunt to Alta for the first time, when we were on vacation at the beach. We took one day, went into town, and went crazy at Alta. So for me, this, not only is it kind of summertime with all the fresh fruits, but it gives me the memories of that trip with her. I also picked out this little Hello Kitty quad, which is just a nice bright yellow palette. And the reason why I picked this one out is because it's bright and sunny, which is what the summertime is, bright and sunny. I picked out this Cara Beauty Pisces palette. If they still have this one on the site, out of all of the palettes in this kind of collection, this is the one I would recommend. This kind of green blue color story with a pop of pink in it is so beautiful. The looks that I've made with this one I really enjoy, so I would highly recommend this one. The metallics almost have that glam light butteriness to them, which I really appreciate, and I think the mattes blend out really nicely. Plus, with the mermaid, had to pick it. Alright, this is the Sugar Drizzle Warrior palette. And this one I feel like could go spring or summer, but I decided to put it into summer because of the yellow and greens in here. I feel like that's really poppy and bright for the summertime. You do have two multi-chrome shades in here, and then a couple of duochromes in here, which are really nice. This one I really like because it's a green that pulls kind of pink, which I think is a bit unusual. So definitely had to pick that one. And then the Laguna shade, or the Laguna palette that Glam Light put. Oh my gosh, this is the Laguna palette that Glam Shop put out, which is a Polish indie brand, but this is what that palette looks like. And of course it just has those sea tones, murky kind of greeny teal shades, and then you've got these two pops of kind of orangey red colors. But overall I think it is a very beautiful palette, and this shade up here is so sparkly and intense. I really like this palette. So with the mermaid vibe too, I felt like it was perfect for this summertime prompt. Next up is the BH Cosmetics Mimosa palette, And the reason I picked this one out again is because it reminds me of a trip that I went on with a good friend of mine, Emily, and all of these like kind of bright punchy colors I feel like are exactly what you think of in summertime. You know, you're barbecuing, you're having cocktails, and they're all these kind of bright tropical things. So this one definitely had to be pulled out. If you can find this one at TJ Maxx, I would highly recommend it. I think that's where I find mine. That was back when BH was still a brand, but I did find it at TJ Maxx. Next up is Colourpop Limoncello, and this one definitely gives me kind of summer vibes. I remember when I first got this palette, I was doing a look with it, and I think I filmed it, but I ended up like, I changed into this like lemon print sundress, and we were outside barbecuing, and it was like a whole thing, a whole vibe for the day. So definitely this one makes me think of summertime. And then just 3 more to go. The first is the Odins Eye and Angelic Nephis Hella palette, which is no longer available, but if you have it in your collection, definitely I think it meets the prompt for summertime. The bright like pinks that you have in here, you've got some kind of like grassy greens and then some kind of like swampier greens, but I feel like there's still a lot of brightness to make this palette still feel very summery. And then of course this multi-chrome shade is really, really spectacular in this palette. Second to last is the It's Belle Cool Summer palette, and it has summer right in the name, so of course I'm gonna pick that one. But it looks like this, and again it's just all these like tropical bright beachy colors. Like I can imagine a beach towel having all these crazy colors in it, and then the duochrome shades that are in here to complement are very, very nice quality. They have that really buttery silky feel to them, which I appreciate. I think my favorite 2 are probably these 2 down here. That's why they look the most abused. And then the last one that I thought was definitely apropos, especially with the movie coming out soon, is the Barbie palette. Now, not only is everybody in like their swim gear here ready to go, but you've got like the ocean waves here on the mirror, and then you've got this really pretty like punchy kind of palette. The pinks, the purples, blues definitely gives me ocean vibes, and then you've got these browns, but they're very like sandy browns. So I think all in all, this palette definitely screams like beach summertime as well. Okay, another quick video. That should make at least editing this week a little bit less painful. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in a comment down below, what are some palettes that you think of when you think of those like summertime vibes? I'm definitely curious to see what you pick out of your collection. I want to thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe before you go, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye!